Hello everybody, this is Gus from Relay Corp. Today I'm going to give you a sneak peek of Letro. Letro is an application like email, but unlike email, all messages are end-to-end encrypted, and it's got built-in mechanisms to protect you against spam and phishing. And most importantly, it works with and without access to the internet thanks to Awala. So without further ado, let's dive into it. So you'll notice I've got two phones on display here. The one on the right hand side has American English as the main locale. The one on the left hand side, British English. Now I'm only demoing these two flavors of the language because this is a demo in English, but obviously we're going to be supporting as many languages as we can. So I'll go ahead and open Letro in one of them. And the first thing we'll see is this loading screen. This is a stepping stone. We're going to have a nicer one. So because I'm using the American locale, the first option I'm given is to create an account. That account will be created with the domain name applepie.rocks. However, if I were to use a different locale, say Venezuelan Spanish, go back to Letro, then I'll get a totally different language. So we're not only translating the text, we're actually trying to give the user a very local experience. If you happen to have a locale that is not one that we support, or at least we don't have a domain for it yet, then you'll see a fallback domain, like in this case, nautilus.inc. But let's go back to the American locale so that we can do the rest of the demo. So, back to Letro. I am going to create the username Megan under applepie.rocks. And one of the things that we need to optimize is performance. So it takes a few seconds to do this. So while that takes place, I am going to open the other phone. The one, oh, there you go, that's done. Now I'm going to open the other phone and we'll do the same thing, but with the British locale. And here I'm using the dark theme. So I wanted to use both themes so that you could see what they look like side by side. So here I am going to create an account for IFA. Yep. And you'll see that I'm getting the domain name coppa.fans because again this has been localized for UK users. So same thing, we're creating an account here and that's done. Great. So one thing that I need to mention at this point is that one of the phishing/spam mechanisms that I referred to earlier referred to these IDs that you see on the top left corner of these screens. So those identifiers look like email addresses, but one key difference with email is that just because you know the ID, it doesn't give you the ability to message these two users. So this is some protection that comes from Awala. Another thing that I should mention is that these identifiers work offline in a secure way, so you can be certain that what the person that you're talking to is actually them. And this is thanks to a different technology called Vera ID that we also built in-house. So the way you for two users to message each other on Letro, they must pre-authorize each other. They have to pair with each other for this to actually be possible, for them to message each other. So you have a few ways to do this. You can either manually enter their ID. So in this case, I will type ifa@coppafans, or you could share your ID if you wanted to with an app that you have there. If you I'm not going to demo that here, but if you were to share that, then it would basically pre-populate this form with the ID. So let's try to connect with Aoife at copa.fans here. Cool. So yeah, that looks good to me. Yeah, I think I'll give Aoife a name. I won't be doing the same with Megan, just so that you can see the two versions. Cool. So we just sent the request for Aoife. Now let's do the converse on Aoife's phone. And one thing that you'll notice is that Aoife is not going to get alerted to the pairing request from Megan. This is a feature, not a bug. So this is basically one of the measures that we are taking to avoid phishing. So somebody could, for example, create a domain name that looks quite similar to, say, some service that the user or the target uses. Say something that looks like google.com, but it's not google.com, for example. And we don't want that. That's why we require the user to be explicit about whom they pair with. So let's now go to Aoife's phone and pair with Megan. So here we're going to type Megan at Apple Pie Rocks. Yeah, I typed that correctly. And I'm not going to give Megan a name, just so that we see what it looks like when we don't give it a name. We request pairing. So now that we're, this is on Aoife's phone, we're using a newer version of Android. So here we have to explicitly grant permission to receive those notifications when the pairing is complete. So I'll go ahead and grant that permission. That's it. So now the pairing is going behind the scenes. And again, performance is one of those things that we need to improve. So now we can see that the pairing is complete on Megan's phone. So we're going to wait just a little bit more on Aoife's phone. And that's it. And if we go to notifications, we can see that we are now connected to Aoife on Megan's phone. And if we go to Aoife's phone, we can see we are now connected to Megan. And if we go to contacts, we can see both contacts. And if you wanted to change the name, you can change the name if you wanted to. Now, let's just create a new conversation, right? Because that's the main thing here. So from Aoife's phone, I'm going to send a message to Megan. And yeah, now let's just type some subject. The lovely afternoon snack. So that's it. So we send the message to Aoife, and Aoife just got it. So, sorry, Megan just got it. So if we open the message, this is what it looks like. Now I'm going to reply. Oh, actually, before I reply to it, let's go to Aoife's phone and see the sent messages or conversations. So we can see that it's been sent. It's over there. Let's say that, let's say that now Megan wants to reply. And to make it a bit more interesting, we are going to reply with an attachment. And to include the attachments, it's basically a matter of just tapping that clip over there, and that's it. So now we send it to Aoife, and then you can see that Aoife got the message. So now if we go to the see, this is one of those things that are not working quite well, so we're not displaying attachments just yet. But basically you get the idea of what will happen, and this is the kind of things that will happen with a demo of something that is in progress, I guess. And also one thing that I forgot to show is that we are getting the notifications here for the messages that we get from our contacts. So yeah, now one final thing. Let's say that both Aoife and Megan are very organized and they try to aim to have inbox 0. So let's say, so one thing that you can do is you can archive the message, and if you archive it, it will show under archive. And let's say that for some reason Megan wants to just delete the message. So once it's deleted, it's gone. And also this is a reminder that everything is end-to-end encrypted, but we can dismiss it if we want to. So that's it. Thank you very much for watching this demo.